The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has set up an investigative committee to address the incessant collapse of the national grid.
Well, joining us now is the chairman of the committee, Nafisat Ali. Good to see you and thanks for your time. Well, we just had a conversation with Kunle Olubio, and listening to Kunle and listening to some of the complaints within the sector, it would mean one thing: the minister does not understand the urgency, and that is why he's put in a committee. How well do we understand the problem of this incessant collapse of the national grid?
Thank you very much, and good evening, viewers. I would like to start by explaining what a grid is and what we mean by grid collapse, and if you wish, call it a shutdown. It depends on what you wish. We have generation, transmission, and distribution facilities. We have about 30 power plants connected to the grid. We have 55 330 kV substations, and then we have about 160 132 33 kV substations. We have a number of transformers in that capacity as well, so you can imagine the number. And then we have transmission lines that span all over the country. Then we have 11 distribution companies, and with their transformers, their substations, and their facilities. Everything is interconnected together. So you can imagine what I'm talking about. The massive...
No, I don't.
Okay, so because, I'm saying...
Because let's not, because we don't have the luxury of time here.
Okay.
Let's talk about the problem. We understand we have 11
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this equipment, generation equipment, transmission equipment, and distribution equipment are connected together, and that's a grid.
Yes.
Right.
Now, because we are connected together, there's no room for bad behavior. There will be consequences. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, so bad behavior on the part of who's dropping the ball that's leading to
Anybody can cause a collapse from history. We carry out investigation on system collapse, and we have discovered that anybody can cause a collapse. That's why I took you through the generation, transmission, and distribution.
Yeah, what you're saying is that they're unwieldy. You know, we have to maximize the time because it's very short.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay,
yes,
so I'm saying
that's
that
the challenge.
It depends on your activity. Anybody can cause a collapse.
What's the weakest link based on your findings so far? I mean, you head this committee.
Yes.
And I'm sure it's based on the fact that there's a whole lot of institutional knowledge that you have, an understanding that you have about why national grid collapses.
Yeah.
That's the ordinary Nigerian just wants to know exactly what the problem is or what the problems are.
The problem is cut across the three sectors: generation, transmission, and distribution. That's the message I'm passing across.
Okay.
I'm saying that generation, in the past, they have caused collapses. Transmission has caused collapses. Distribution has put us in difficult situation as well. So I'm saying that it's not a one-man show.
Right.
I'm saying anybody can cause a collapse as long as you don't behave well. When I say behave, I'm talking about on the grid. That's why I had to explain to you what the grid is. And because we're interconnected, that's why there is need for everybody to behave well.
You know, this is deja vu. It comes across to me that this is what we've seen before. We've always had this story, and it's coming from TCN, that sometimes the load that is transmitted, you know, to the discos are rejected. No. Let's face the reality and talk about investments in these three units. I want to call them units. How much of investment have we seen within the TCN to the extent that a lot of discos, amongst the 7, have had series of investments? They've been able to change power lines, underground cables, and some of them also have procured fault locator, underground fault locator. They have the SCADA. Why is it TCN that is within government is so slow and would like to pass the buck?
Is TCN the weakest link?
I don't want to believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe so because TCN has also had a number of investment. But I want you
to... Like what? Do they have SCADA?
There's no functional SCADA that is 100% functioning.
I know
we have SCADA, but SCADA does not capture the entire system right now.
TCN has no functional SCADA that I know.
Yes.
Some discos like a code disco, they have a functional SCADA. Why is it so big a deal for TCN to have a functional SCADA, knowing that you are the mother of our system?
TCN is a large company, and I know that in the past we have installed SCADA, but we are saying that we had our challenges. And this SCADA that is on the grid now does not cover the entire system. However, there's an ongoing SCADA implementation as I speak with you.
Just a minute. Isn't that why we're saying that the minister, that is why we're saying the minister shouldn't have inaugurated this committee? He knows the fault, and the fault lies within this area. That's the federal government, TCN. You know it. Put your finger on it and fix it pronto.
No, sorry, I beg to disagree with you. And let me tell you why. That's because it is the responsibility of the system operator to carry out investigation when there are events. And that is enshrined in the ruling documents. So the minister has not done anything wrong.
No doubt. Now, let's talk about this committee, which you head, a 6-member committee.
Yes.
What exactly would you be looking out for? What are the questions that you'll be, trying to ask to unravel this, humongous problem that we have, so that we don't continue to have this, collapse issues?
Okay, yes. So this committee was set up because of the 2 last events we had on the 14th and the 19th.
Right.
So the terms of reference state that the committee should investigate the immediate cause or remote cause of these disturbances or collapses, and also determine whether there are equipment or devices that should have operated and they didn't operate. Were they adequate? Were they inadequate? And also check other facilities in the substation, the integrity of the equipment. We're going to check them. So the system operator, it is our responsibility. This is not new. I've headed a lot of collapse committees before. It's not new.
Right. What were your findings? I mean, very quickly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm just imagining that it will be the same common thread.
3 years ago, I visited a power plant that caused a collapse.
What did you find out?
What we discovered was that they had a problem with their protection system. And we advised the MD of the company to ensure that the protection engineers are in-house, because they didn't have a stationary protection engineer. We had to be talking to somebody online.
These are technical issues.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's not good enough. I'm saying that everybody has a problem. So until, sorry to interrupt you. What I'm saying is that until we begin to see that every sector has a problem, we'll continue to have this problem.
No doubt at every level.
Everybody has a problem. Every sector, generation, transmission, and distribution.
When it rains, sorry, you did say the weakest link.
Sorry,
in all 3.
When it rains. No, I won't. When it rains. Sorry. Sorry. When it rains, we encounter a lot of difficulties as system operators because we have to ramp down generators. So
the problem is, like we say.
No, the problem is all over.
The problem tie wrapper in, as we say.
Thank
in
you. That's the word. So this morning, a generator tripped.
So
what do you want to say about that?
Our power provider is also using generator. That in itself is quite it's telling. What is the way forward? I mean, okay, and you have November 1 to submit this report.
Yes.
From where you stand, based on your experience, what would be, some of the key recommendations that you can make for government to improve the, power sector?
The power sector entirely.
Will it be dismantling this behemoth that you describe the system to be?
You see, if we have to advise government on this, we start from generation, transmission, distribution. It cuts across board. That's the point I'm making. I said you can't celebrate individual success in the power sector. It's not possible. What do I mean by that? If transmission is doing well and GENCO and DISCOs are not doing well, light will not get to the consumer. If distribution is doing well and GENCO is not doing well, you know what I'm saying? I'm saying it cuts across these three sectors. So now, fix the GENCOs. We have installed capacity of about 14,400 on the generating side. But the point is that the mechanical availability of these generators, the last time I checked, it was about 7,000 megawatts. What does that mean? I'm saying that even if you produce all the fuel in the world, make it available for the generators to run, they can only do 7,000 megawatts. That's the point I'm making. Because the other facilities are not available. We have the records because we are the system operator.
Right.
And we are saying that in transmission, we also have our lapses.
Okay. Unfortunately, we don't have
equipment. We need to change certain equipment.
What about funding? What about
funding is a big
diversion
issue.
of funds? I was going to say that because our previous guest,
yes.
Mr. Olubiyo, actually pointed out that there's this major challenge, the misdirection of funds. Have you seen that? Have you discovered that, based on your findings so far?
I am not aware of misdirection of funds. What I do know is that we don't have enough funds in TCN, that I can confirm. And, TCN is large. When I say large, and that's why when I started, I was talking about the substations, the transmission lines.
Well, if I hear you correctly, it looks like you're saying the TCN is the weakest link, and it remains in the hands of the government. That's a reading.
No.
That's what we're understanding by what you're saying.
No,
but
that's not my message.
Okay.
Yes.
Engineer Nafisat Ali is the Chairman, Investigative Committee on National Grid Collapse. Please feel free to come back to us and give us your recommendations after you have submitted to the Power Minister.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a carte blanche. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.